It's good to talk about this because
Yeah.
we are one of the things we mentioned in that episode, and we're going to continue to see, and is companies trying to put the old office model onto remote work.
Yeah.
And it's not healthy to be just sitting in a chair for 8 hours a day.
No, and I mean, I think we've probably all come to that conclusion at many different points in our career, and it's not. And the problem is that, again, I think from a value perspective, it's the easiest path. And it's why the billable hour model tends to dominate services, is because it's just easy, right? It's the model we've chosen is definitely very, very challenging. It's hard for many, many reasons. And that's why I think so many companies say, yeah, if you're at your desk working, then it's much easier to manage towards that. And the same holds true in the office. It's much harder to put in the time to really understand what your team is doing, and on a one-to-one level, understand the value that each of your employees is creating. But damn, that's your job as a manager. If that's not what you're doing, what are you doing, right? But all too often that time is not spent, and it's like, well, if Jim is sitting at his desk, then he's working. So as long as he's there from 8 to 5, then Jim is a performer. And it's just such a lazy way of doing things, and it was toxic in the office. It's going to be even more toxic at home, because as we've already talked about, employers are going to start and have already started deploying surveillance software to help figure out, is Jim sitting at his desk? It's just such a poor measure and proxy for productivity and value creation.
And here's the even more insidious part of that tracking software: they're going to gamify it for employees to then shame, not just managers shaming their team, but you're going to see employees shaming other employees.
Yeah, and they've already done this before. I'm sure you've had instances in your career where you've seen this happen. I saw this happen early in my career, where the gamification of asses in seat was done. And this is where you have kind of the badge of honor of, well, I stayed and worked until 9 o'clock this night, or like, so I'm like, so what did you actually get done? Right? It's like, you may have worked from 8 until midnight, but I got more done than you did before noon. So who cares? But you're absolutely right. This kind of easy path and gamifying it opens it up to recreating what we already see in this office. This badge of honor of working more hours means you're more dedicated. You've got more hustle. You care more. It's like, we have to flip this conversation to be more about, but what are you doing with that time? And again, I would much rather have more value created in less time, and I don't care what you do with the rest of that time. I would hope you're doing things that are making yourself more valuable and stronger and more resilient long term. But like, I don't want to measure that. I don't want to measure 8 hours. It's an arbitrary number, probably based on factory work and cycles of time. Like, it doesn't work for knowledge work. It's not necessary. So
if I were to sum up everything you've said in this episode, it pretty much comes down to less is more.
Yeah.